What's going on YouTube? Aaron here, and just wanted to give y'all a video topic today. And today's topic is going to be over how to think like a business owner in your 20s. And so I feel like I can start to really talk about this now because I'm 29. I'm about to turn 30 actually in a couple of days here, so I can actually like look back at my 20s and see what was I doing where I did think like a business owner, what are times when I was not thinking like a business owner, and what would I have done differently, what mindset can I now instill upon myself to move forward on and act on. Because being a business owner is the best way to go. This channel and just who I am as a being, I'm very multifaceted, but I just like to talk about ownership principles and ownership mindsets. And so business and owning your own type of productive income stream is going to be one of those things for sure. So in your 20s is really interesting, man. When I was like fresh in my 20s, like going from 19 to 20, I want to say I was in school, Texas Tech, maybe finishing up at UT or about to go to UTB in Galveston, Texas. So I remember around that age was when I was really actually wanting to drop out of school. I remember having a distinctive conversation with my parents because I've always wanted to go down the entrepreneurship and business route, and that's just what I've seen. And I did good in high school, and I was getting by in college, just making my grades. But I was always doing something else, and my vision for my life was much larger than what I was doing at the time then. And you're young, so you got to think about in shorter and longer time frames. I was thinking in very short time frames, like, oh, in the next 3 years I'll be Mr. Big Money Bucks, right? And who knows, maybe if I fully dedicated myself to leaving school, getting a job, and building a business and working hard, who knows where I would have been now. But anyway, that's one thing I will always say in your 20s is don't waste your time. Also, definitely go after the things you truly, truly want. That's a good little side lesson there for sure. But yeah, and that's where I was at mentality though in my 20s, right? And so I was like, I'm going to complete the school thing, but I always kept some entrepreneurship thing on the side, buildings, making some income streams at least. I won't say I had like a full-on bit like retire my self business, but something gave me an extra 2-3 grand, couple times there, 20-30 grand extra on top of my full-time job money was really great, and continue to always do that as well. But now it's funny because I'm in my 30s now. I kind of always looked at money as like, or like my job, because I went to school, I did the whole thing, and I kind of feel like socially indebted to that, if that makes sense, because that's been my identity, that's what I've excelled in, so I kind of stayed in those arenas, and always wanted to still make extra money more than I could there. But why not just make something full-time from what you really want to do and have your free time back is what I'm really starting to value as I'm entering my 30s. So that's where I was at. And so I would say in your 20s, having that ownership mindset is going to be big. And also like, if you want to go, like, if you're in your 20s right now and you're like, I want to be the doctor and I want to make money in the medical field, for example, great. I'd say go do it. Unless there's something out there better for you that comes up your way and you're like, okay, I can 100% do this, and this exactly has the results I want to. I think what's interesting too, that I would look back as well, is like, look at what you want to do, but also look at the results. I knew the results I always wanted would only be attained from an independent entrepreneurship, decentralized lifestyle. It was never like the results I wanted you really would never find in a normal employee business owner engagement. It was always like in business, and so I definitely would have just kept on sticking to that. I would have just stuck to my guns and have just ran off and just been a multi-millionaire business owner, just focus on doing solely that. And the worst case scenario, if you fail, I could have always gone back and got a basic job. I could have moved in with 4, 5, 6, 7 roommates or something. It would have never been homeless. That's just not like my mentality. But looking back, that's some things I would have definitely done in my early 20s, like 20 to through 22 ish. 23 through 27 I'd say was really fun. Those 4 years, that's when I was like starting to graduate from college and starting to build a name in the medical world for myself, and even if you want to say in the business world too. Started just working like a dog, man. I was, yeah, crazy, cranking out hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and just cash and just income. Now it's life, and so you have expenses. So I don't remember exactly all the profit and everything, but I would say I remember my biggest year was like doing like 30K in over a few months, and I was like, wow, like that's some really good money. Like you can really live well. And so yeah, I saw a lot of experiences. I went out there, I met a lot of people, I educated myself a lot. I went out there and also just really tested myself too, competed in powerlifting, started to train a lot in boxing, got in fantastic shape, and yeah, just started to be that guy, like just working hard. And I think this is one thing too I would be careful of in your 20s, trying to think, is having that arrival mindset or that arrival mentality. I do really think that's one thing that kind of hindered me for a long time, was that I definitely was like, I'm doing really good. I got the nice clothes, I got the nice car, I got the nice business. Like, yeah, I can sleep in a little bit, or yeah, I guess I became comfortable, essentially. I didn't make myself uncomfortable. And I think I did actively seek that out in, like, working hard and building a business and working out and stuff. But I think, it's the little things where I should have been a lot harder on myself with. So that's one thing there as well, in my 20s, that I would definitely change. And then another thing I would say for when you're in your 20s, just some business ownership mindset things as well too. I think it all spills out from that mindset of just taking ownership, being accountable to yourself, working hard, going after your dream. I think it spills into the little minutia, like, of course, maintain your finances, keep a high credit score, don't have any debt outside of a home mortgage. Yeah, get to six figures in the bank as fast as you can. Build a business or build some ongoing asset for yourself, because you just never know what your employer might do if you're in an employee position, or you don't ever know what your other businesses will do. So you always want to have a plan B, for sure. Plan B, C, D, E, but they're all, you work on them all as time goes on. So yeah, and one thing I think is really fun to do, especially if you're like me and you're entering your 30s, look back, and I'm going to be actively doing this. Look back into your old albums, photos, pictures, whatever like that, and see what you wanted to achieve in your 20s. There's a quote from Justin Waller, and I love this saying. He was like, he looked back because he became a millionaire in his 30s, maybe like early 30s or like late, like 29 to 30, around there, he says. But he said he looked back at his goals, and he said his goals that he was making for himself to achieve in his 20s, he wasn't qualified for, because we're men, we're humans, we have egos, we want to build. You can be like, I want to achieve X thing by next day, but the universe or the world and God is just going to be like, you're not cut out for that just yet. Like, no, shame on you for wanting that goal. We're not gonna let you do that. We're gonna give you other things to distract you, for you to focus on, maybe. But now you can look at it back and be like, maybe now I'm qualified. Maybe I have more life experience, I've seen it more, I have more money in the bank, I have a lot more charisma, a lot more confidence to actually achieve that goal and maintain it, or now then set the next thing after that. So I would look back on some things you were like, oh, when I'm in my 20s, I want this, I wanted to make that, or I want to achieve this. And if you didn't achieve it in your 20s, look back and see, like, what can I make happen now? What can I actually do? And like everyone says, I think your 30s gets better. And I'm very excited about my 30s. Going into my 30s, I'm still going to look back at goals I didn't do and things I wanted to do in my 20s, and do and see what makes sense to do now. And then also start to look at, like, where do I want to be when I'm 40, or just start getting around more wiser people and just picking up more ideas as well. But yeah, just excited going into my 30s, and I think just being sober, being clear of thought, of clear thought, and just working hard and maintaining discipline. Discipline's a really big theme for sure. I want to implore more in my 30s. And yeah, just getting the job done, if that makes sense. Just getting the job done. If you're like, have 10 things to do, you can run around. There's big booty cuties everywhere. There's, money to be made. There's games to watch, phones to be on, things to play on. Like, there's so many different things to do, but it's like, just go get those things done. There's never going to be a better time to say, like, I accomplished these things. I did it. I made some significance in my life. You know what I mean? And then move on. So I think your 30s is the best playground for that, for sure. Your 20s, if you got it, do it, but I think your 30s is a great time to look back and build on it and change your character. Always change your character, always change who you are, and just keep improving. So yeah, that's the video for today, guys, and enjoy. I'll be on the road to Texas tomorrow, leaving Colorado around like 4:30 a.m. on the road. And yeah, just gonna answer emails, phone calls, text messages, build the business, talk to people out there on the road. And yeah, we'll just enjoy the 30th birthday day on Wednesday. So take care, guys.